aani, 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 ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani ng sining, ani ng galing, diwa at damdamin ng taong bayan. Ani ng anyo ng ating pagkatao, ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani, ani, aani, aani, ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani ng liwanag ng kamalayan, ani ng diwa ng taong bayan. Ani ng gabay sa ating paglalakbay, ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani, 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 aani, aani, ani ng sining ng taong bayan. Ani, 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 aani, aani, ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani ng likha ng taong malikhain, ating anihin at ihahain. Ani ng saysay, ani ng salaysay, aning kasaysayan ng taong bayan.
Ani, ani, aani, aani, ani ng sining ng taong bayan. Ani, 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 aani, aani, ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Kamalayan, liwanagan, pagdiriwang.
Ani, aani, ani,
Ani ng sining.
ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani, 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 ani,
Ani ng sining ng taong bayan. Ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
ani, 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 ani,
Ani.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat at salamat sa inyong paglahok at pakikinig dito sa Tampok Sabadulaan or Saturday Conversations on Theater o Huntahan tungkol sa dulaan tuwing Sabado. Ako po si Desa Quesada Paun, ang convener ng Tampok 2020, isang flagship project ng National Commission for Culture and the Arts, Committee on Dramatic Arts. Simulan po natin ang hapong ito sa isang pagpupugay sa ating bansa, sa ating bandila, at ito po ay susundan ng mga panalangin mula sa ating mga kapatid na katutubo mula sa Cordillera, mula sa ating mga kapatid na Muslim mula sa Marawi at sa mga Katoliko-Kristiyano mula sa Bohol.
Iyaman ay iyaman, ang kapagubusan, dadalayan mikan, tayong kakadiwanwan, lay di may umikan, tay at adalan ng tudo may kabunyan. Iyaman ay iyaman, indat mo'y nataguan, at ado'y kabiligan, nalaway lutaan, yakay manandayaan, yagdan ng laing, nang gagatayin dat mo, amin dat tunay apo, puunan mi ay mensilbis ng ngaran mo, ay layad di umili. Ang kami min iyaman, es na may kakadwami, ng planos programa mi, ng planos ikakami. Amid na lumalay, yakay mang gumagada, mangikan isnan ituda adalin ng litawa, ay siya nan lanapan mi, mangidayaw kan si kayama, isnan sang lubungan ay ili. Palidem nan nemnemi, palidem nan kaget mi, tanan adalan mi, ikan mi ay mensilbi, pagawisan nan umili kay dayawang may amami. Kay man idwani, kauugyat ng chimpumi, adunan sakit ay inmali, ay adimi kaya'y yadi, meng sakit sinan puso, meng sakit isnan namnam, meng bakas isnan awak mi. Pabunasam kaday amay kabunyan, tamamaid amin ang sakit ay naida, tagawis di ikakan mi, mangitultulay man silbi, mangitultulay man dayaw kan si kaya pumi.
وقال ربكم أعوذوني يستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وأمالا متقبلا اللهم إني أعوذ بك من البراس والجنون والجذام ومن سيء الأسقام اللهم رب الناس أذهب البأس واشف أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقاما ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory
Magandang hapon muli sa lahat at salamat sa ating mga kapatid mula sa iba't ibang bahagi ng kapuluan sa kanilang mga panalangin. Tunay na makulay ang ating kultura at bagamat may iba-iba tayong mga paniniwala at pamamaraan ay nananaig ang paggalang at pagkakaisa. So, at this point, para magbahagi po ng kanyang pagbati sa lahat ng kalahok at manonood ng Tampok Sabadulaan, andito po ang ating Executive Director ng NCCA, si Ginoong Al Ryan Alejandre. Bago po siya nanilbihan sa NCCA, si Mr. Alejandre was a third-term Davao City Councilor who also served as the chairperson of the City Council Committee on Tourism. At bago naman siya lumahok sa larangan ng politika, si Sir Al Ryan ay isang well-known na television personality sa Davao City na mapapanood sa mga local TV variety shows. He was also a school official at the DMMA College of Southern Philippines. Let us all warmly welcome Mr. Alejandre. Sir Alrayan.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Des, for the introduction. Good afternoon po sa lahat, sa mga taga Luzon. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat, sa Visayas and sa Mindanao. Maayong hapon sa inyong kanan. No? It's a cold weather here in Manila. Sana okay lang po kayo dyan. It is a pleasure to welcome you all on this webinar, Tampok 2020, the National Theater Conference, establishing Rationale for the Academy of Philippine Theater. I am delightful that many people right now are joining us this afternoon. No? Nasa Facebook, nanonood yata sila ngayon. Good afternoon. And of course, I will thank especially our organizer, the NCCA Committee on Dramatic Arts. Palakpakan naman natin sila. Thank you very much. In partnership with Youth Advocates through Theater Arts Incorporated, and our resource speaker po na nandito ngayong hapon, sina Mr. Philemon Blanco, sir. Of course, si Mr. Gardy, Lutgardo, Labad. Sir Gardy, maayong hapon. And of course, si Ma'am Dessa Quesada pa. At saka sa mga ibang ating mga resource speaker na nandito din ngayon. Magandang hapon po and thank you very much. At Tampok 2020 have gathered theater practitioners, no? Ito po, bago po tayo ngayon. I know this is new to us, itong webinar na ito, and we didn't expect that this thing will happen to us. Pero sabi ko nga, kahit anong medium, we will use that, no, para tuloy-tuloy yung ating pagserbisyo. No? Again, Tampok 2020, I have gathered theater practitioners in the region to present and share some of the country's best practices, no, in building a curriculum for the theater praxis and to examine the challenges in the formulation of a curriculum on the Philippine theater. As we experiencing the coronavirus pandemic right now, we hope that this webinar, which is one of many more support programs, we will be helpful in strengthening our culture and the arts. Hindi po tayo magpapapigil, hindi tayo magpapahinto, tuloy-tuloy po ang ating pagbibigay ng mga programa sa ating mga cultural workers and artists. No? I know we're very creative. There's a lot of way to reach out our cultural workers and artists and to give our services. Yan po ang palagi kong sinasabi po sa mga empleyado po at MANCOM ng NCCA. We will do something just to, give help and reach out to our cultural workers and artists. The National Commission of Culture and the Arts will continue, as I've said, to protect, preserve, and find ways to advance culture and arts sector amidst new normal. Sana maging normal na tayo. No? NCCA is making ways to help our cultural workers and artists in this time of pandemic. Let's all be united. Yan po ang kailangan natin. We should be united to help each other in fighting and overcoming these challenges in our country. Kayang-kaya natin ito. No? Kayang-kaya natin ito. So I wish you all great health and well-being. No, maraming salamat po, daghang salamat, and mabuhay, no? Tayong lahat. Good afternoon.
Maraming salamat, ED Sir Alrayan Alejandre. Alam po namin napaka-busy nyo these days, no? Kaya kinalulugod namin na makapiling kayo sa pagbubukas ng Tampok Sabadulaan. At natutuwa kami sa commitment ng NCCA to really respond to the emerging needs, no, na unpredictable po para sa ating lahat na dala ng pandemya at ng COVID-19. So padayon po, patuloy po natin ang ating paninilbihan sa sektor natin. At ngayon naman, kinagagalak din namin na ipakilala ang chairperson po ng NCCA para magbahagi din ng kanyang pagbati sa lahat ng kalahok at manonood ng Tampok Sabadulaan. So si Chairperson person is Ginoong Arsenio Nick Lizaso. Siya ay isa ring batikang manunulat, direktor sa tanghalan, telebisyon at pelikula. At naging bahagi din siya at kasulukuyang pangulo ng Cultural Center of the Philippines. So, Sir Nick Lizaso, welcome po. At alam ko we had some technical difficulties, but I hope you can share your message. Paki-unmute na lang po. Sir Nick, can you hear us? Sir Nick, can you try to, hello, can you unmute so we can hear you? Can our IT staff help just unmute Sir Nick, and maybe we can check out his microphone? Sige, balikan po natin si Sir Nick, no? We'll help him sa pag-set up po ng ng microphone, ng audio. But we do acknowledge and thank you for being with us. Alam din namin na you also have a very hectic schedule these days, so we appreciate even the fact that you are with us in this program. But we'll attempt to figure out the technical na mga issues po natin para marinig po namin kayo in the next part. But at this point, so I would like to introduce someone who is very special to many of us, who is the current head of the NCCA Committee on Dramatic Arts, who will also give a short background and rationale for Tampok Sabadulaan. He is Filimon Blanco, the artistic director of Teatro Gindegan of La Salle University in Ozamis City. Just a brief background about him, no? Dun sa hindi pa nakakakilala. You see, Filimon started his career in the performing arts with the MSU Sining Cambayoca Ensemble. Marami pong naipanganak na theater artists and committed cultural workers ang MSU Sining Cambayoca Ensemble. He graduated from the 3-year professional diploma in intercultural theater acting from the Intercultural Theater Institute in Singapore. And this was in 2005. And subsequently, he founded the Teatro Gindegan of La Salle University and serves as its artistic director since its inception in 2007. As actor-performer, he performed in international theater festivals, where in Manila, in India, in Taiwan, Indonesia, and Singapore. Offstage, Filimon was also a regular delegate to international programs such as the Asia-Europe Foundation's Health on Stage in Bangalore, India. This was in 2011. Also at the Tokyo's Performing Arts Meeting in Yokohama. This was in 2013 in Japan. And the 20th Performance Studies International Conference held in Shanghai, China in 2014, where he presented his paper na pinamagatang Hugis, Experimenting Asian Classical Forms in Contemporary Performance. And also the 2019 Abu Dhabi Cultural Summit in Abu Dhabi, UAE. In September 2013, the provincial government of Zamboanga del Sur awarded him the 2013 Most Outstanding Zambosturian in the Arts and Culture category. And this was in January 2015. 2050. The municipality of Tambulig also awarded him the Tambul ni Ilig Award for Arts and Culture. And since 2020, he serves as the head of the National Committee on Dramatic Arts of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. So let us all warmly welcome Mr. Filemon Blanco.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Mahayong hapon Desa, mahayong hapon Sir Edie Alrayan, Gardy, and Sir Nick. No? Mahayong hapon sa tanan and good afternoon. Again, my name is Filemon Blanco. I am the Artistic Director of the La Salle University Teatro Gindigan. But please allow me to formally introduce the CDA and its officers. The National Committee on Dramatic Arts, or CDA, is one of the 19 national committees of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, or NCCA, the cultural arm of the Philippine government. It is composed of sectoral and organizational members, both from theater organizations and groups and individual practitioners of the field. It functions as a coordinating body of the theater networks all over the country that consciously strive to sustain the broad range of theater activities, especially the community theater and cultural action works in the region. It envisions, or CDA envisions, a liberating theater that recognizes and respects the cultural diversity among the Filipinos towards enriching the national identity. The committee commits itself to build and enhance the capabilities of theater workers towards the revitalization and consolidation of theater works in the regions and in the setting up of mechanisms for the sustainability of regional and national work. I am presently the head of the CDA with Edward Perez of Artist Inc. as the vice head. We have committee representatives from the 4 sub-island clusters. We have Roberto Bobet Mendoza and Anthony Cruz from the National Capital Region, Mathilin Talastas, Bernardo Aguay, and Dr. Jasmine Liana from Luzon, Jeray Aguilar and Ricardo Salanap from the Visayas, Denise Aguilar and Romeo Narvaez from Mindanao. In behalf of the NCCA National Committee on Dramatic Arts, I would like to formally and virtually welcome you all to Tampok Sabadulaan, Saturday Conversations on Theater. Over a period of 2 months, we are inviting you to join us every Saturday from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. to listen to key theater leaders in the country as they share and talk about the diverse theater practices across regions, cities, and municipalities in the country. Tampok is the flagship project of the CDA for the 2020 National Arts Month, which supposedly should take place in Cebu City last February 2020. However, due to the increasing number of positive cases of COVID-19, we have decided to postpone the face-to-face national gathering at a later month when conditions will permit. But 5 months since the implementation of community quarantines across the country, we realized that face-to-face conference is still not possible. Hence, we decided to migrate this national gathering to a webinar platform. Tampok aims to create a space for the reflection on some of the country's best practices in building a curriculum for theater praxis and to examine the challenges in the formation of a curriculum on Philippine theater. Through this series of webinar, we will be gathering theater makers and leaders virtually to listen and be inspired by their varied experiences in theater. This project is part of the vision which started from the previous CDA under the leadership of Ms. Desa Quisada Pam to draft a blueprint of an Academy of Philippine Theater or the pambansang linangan ng dulang Filipino. We have rich theater traditions in the Philippines, from indigenous and folk theaters, musicals, realistic theaters, contemporary and experimental theaters, dance drama, and its hybrid forms. But we don't have an academy that will guide and probably help shape or define Philippine theater. If we develop an academy, how should it look like? How should it be operationalized? What would be its structure? Is it an actual or physical space? Or is it just a peer type, like an association of theater leaders and directors? What would be the contents and pedagogies? These are just some of the topics to discuss, debate, or discover. The current CDA under my term wishes to continue this project of envisioning an academy that is reflective of the Filipino culture and traditions. So again, I am inviting you all to join us every Saturday at 3 p.m. to listen to the sharing of the rich experiences by some of the key theater leaders and practitioners in the country. Be inspired of the Filipino artistry and creativity. Tara na't makitampo. Maayong hapon kanatong tanan.
Thank you very much, Philemon. No, talagang alam natin mahaba yung paglalakbay na dinaanan natin, no, para mangyari itong tampok. Again, mabuhay ang ating mga pagpupursige, no, dito sa sa conversation na ito or huntahan. Babalikan po, nakikita na po namin si Sir Nick, ang chairperson of NCCA. Chairperson Nick Lizaso, welcome po at maraming salamat po at pasensya po dun sa ating mga technical glitch. Pero ready na po kami para sa inyong mensahe at sa inyong pagbati.
Unang-una, magandang hapon sa iyo. At pasensya na dahil hindi ako high-tech. Somehow there was some difficulty, I do not know what. Anyway, binabati ko yung si Pilemon at saka yung mga kasama niyang tampok na mga opisyales ng Tampok 2020. Isang magandang adhikain to, magandang project every Saturday. At saka tinatampok ninyo ang mga iba't ibang kaisipan at damdamin ng mga iba't ibang teatro sa Pilipinas. Maganda po ito. Isang pagkakataong hindi ko inabutan ng kapanahonan ko. Ang teatro ko ay mostly nasa Maynila at yun na nga, doon ako. Actually, yours truly, ako po ay lumaki sa teatro. Yan po ang kauna-unahang ika. I was going to be a lawyer, pero something happened. Something pulled me away from it and brought me to the theater. And somebody told me, you belong there, not in the profession of law. Kaya ako po napunta sa teatro at buong buhay ko magmula noon sa stage, sa television, sa pelikula at hanggang ngayon ay sa teatro. Malungkot nga lang po ako dahil pagka sinabi niyong theater, you are thinking in terms of a connection, a physical connection between actors and an audience. Kasi po, malaking halaga ng live audience to the actors on stage. At malaki naman ang nagagawa ng buhay na audience to an actor. He can make magic on stage when he feels the human audience right in front of him. So malungkot po ako na because of this pandemic, hindi natin maipakita ang ating galing because I believe in that magical connection between actors and audience. So going back, nice to see you, Gardy. Gardy is a friend of mine since way back. At sana nga noon talagang binabala ko. At I was desiring to be in Cebu and Bohol after that. I was going to bring the outreach programs of CCP. I was going to bring the PPO to Cebu and to Bohol, but unfortunately, naano tayo ng COVID. So, let me congratulate again the officers, si Pilemon and yung the National Dramatic Committee for Theater. At isang malaking project at ipagpatuloy ninyo. Please, it's important that theater can be the conscience of the community. That's very, very important. It must reflect the community that you serve. Because otherwise, if it does not, then there's no theater. That's why I said that there is that connection between stage and the audience is terribly, terribly important. And it's one happiness in my life that I always look forward to, this magical connection. Salamat and congratulations to all of you. Please continue the good work. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Nick Lizaso. At I'm sure marami po ang nakikinig na nakaka-relate doon sa sinasabi niyong iba dapat ang trajectory. May ilan dyan dapat ay magpapare. Yung iba ay magiging doktor or kung ano pa man. Pero nakita natin, natamaan po tayo ng magic ng theater. No? At maraming salamat for reminding us that theater really is a place for connections, for human connections, and for creating the magic that will allow us na malagpasan din ang ganitong mga pandemya at ilang mga krisis sa ating buhay. Ito po ay larangan ng pagbabago. At yun po yung gusto din na nilalayon din naming matugunan at ma-achieve dito sa usapan or huntahan tungkol sa Academy of Philippine Theater. So please stay with us because the next presentation is the main presentation for this opening. No, we have been looking forward to this. This is the overview of the Envisioned Academy of Philippine Theater, and truthfully, we could not think of anyone better to lead and navigate these conversations than our presenter and our dear friend and mentor, Lutgardo Labad, aka Gardy. So Gardy, if you do not know him yet, and if you're a theater person, it is unlikely, but Gardy is a PETA artist teacher, or Philippine Educational Theater Association. He's also a musical composer and director, a cultural impresario, a theater organizer, trainer and director, a cultural development specialist. No? He composed 85 films for which he received awards for Best Film Score from FAMAS, Orian, Film Academy of the Philippines, and Metro Manila Film Festival Awards. He organized 15 theater and cultural festivals in the country and directed 30, I'm sure more pa, theater productions. No? He founded also the Bohol Theater Company called Kasing Sining Teatro Bolanon Ensemble and led many groups in heritage protection and revitalization, especially for the province of Bohol. Kaya nga madalas namin sinasabi, napakaswerte ng Bohol for having a Gardy. He is also the international impresario of the world-famous Lobok Children's Choir, who rendered that beautiful angelic voice of our Lord's Prayer today. Currently, he is a member of the NCCA Technical Working Group for Cultural Mapping for Values Formation, and also the teacher training for the DepEd SPA, or Special Program in the Arts Program. Gardy was also honored with the Father Francisco Demetrio Heritage Award by Xavier University, and recently by PhilStage with a Lifetime Achievement Award in Theater last May of 2019. He was formerly the head of the Committee on Dramatic Arts for 2 terms. Mga kaibigan, there's more to say, but let us warmly welcome Mr. Gardy Labad. And as we listen, let us really open our hearts and our minds to this overview of the Envisioned Academy. Because alam po namin na ito ay nanggagaling sa napakalalim na dedikasyon at napakalawak na karanasan at wisdom ni Gardy. So, in our own rooms, palakpakan po natin and let us all welcome Gardy Labad. Gardy?
Naiyak na ako. Salamat, Desa. Malagayang bati sa lahat. Lahat ng mga theater groups o theater persons na nakikinig at nanonood ngayon. Papasalamat ako sa dalawa nating mga hepe sa NCCA. Napakasarap pakinggan po kayo, Sir Nick at Sir Al Ryan, na ang dalawang hepe natin ay bilib na bilib sa kahalagahan ng teatro. At talagang napakasakit po talaga ang nangyayari ngayon. Sapagkat totoo, teatro can never be teatro without an audience, without the community. At ito po ang nawala. Pero siyempre, creative ang lahat ng theater artist, di ba? Hindi mo mapipigil ang pagiging malikhain kung saan ka, maski sa prestuhan, sa kanal, sa lahat. Basta nandyan yung, yung talagang drive, the need to express yourself in theater, talagang lalabas ang pagkamalikhain ng isang theater artist. Kaya po, ipapatuloy natin itong trabahong ito despite all the odds. Akin din mamaya magkakaroon din ng isang tribute sa isang kilalang manunulat na sumakabilang buhay very suddenly. Isa pong napakalapit sa puso ko. 40 taong kaming nagkakilala, kaibigan, kaeskwela, si Manny Pambid. Kaya para akong naka-roller coaster of emotion sa paghahanda nitong presentation, excitement, pero suddenly, magdadalamhati ka. So, parang itong gagawin ko ngayon ay inaalay ko talaga sa kanya. At sa lahat ng mga kasamahan natin sa teatro. Ang hindi ko pwedeng masabi na ito ay galing sa akin lang. Ito po ay galing sa about 50 years na karanasan mula sa PETA, sa Abroden, hanggang sa napadpad uli ako sa lalawigan namin sa Bohol. Kung saan ang natutunan ko sa PETA ay talagang inilatag ko at sinubukan kong magkaroon ng buhay sa Bohol. At totoo naman, everywhere, basta open and fertile at creative ang mga katilingban, ang communities, talaga nagkakaroon ng buhay ang teatro. And of course, ang seeds nito ay kinakailangan ko masabi sa inyo, ang passion nito nagsimula sa pag-aral ko ng teatro sa PETA sa lalim ng aking guro at nanay, si Madam Cecilia Dote Alvarez. Yung concept po ng dulaan para sa bayan, sa kanya ko po natutunan. Okay? So ito na po, Desa, magsisimula na ba ang presentasyon natin ngayon? Sige po. So mahaba ng konti ito. Ito po ay ang proposal. Last year, naglatag po ng call for proposals ang CDA. At ako, excited ako sa konseptong yon, sumulat ako ng proposal at fortunately, natanggap po ang proposal ko kung paano susulatin ang blueprint ng isang Academy for Philippine Theater. Pero ito po, sabi ko sa inyo, hindi po itong magagawa kung hindi tayo sama-samang bubuo nitong pangarap nito. Ito na po, ang hulmahan. Isa pong video presentation. Mga 25 minutes po ito.
Tampok 2020 presents Hulmahan, establishing the rationale for the creation of an Academy of Philippine Theater. This is a project of the National Committee of Dramatic Arts National Commission for Culture and the Arts in response to a call for proposal.
Des, ano nangyari?
May problema din.
Sige lang, ano lang, inaayos naman po nung aming IT staff. Okay lang, babalikan yon.
Yan ang teatro ngayon, marami problema.
Mali ang file.
Ha?
Nasa mali ang file. Mali ata ang file. Okay, check. Ayan. Okay. Continue. Ano? Wala. Is it going? Wala.
Teka, nahirapan daw mag-share.
Hello. Hello. Yung kailangan yung spell out mo yung Jiao in parenthesis. Tapos yun namang pati yung FDCP because not everybody are familiar with the in parenthesis also. Para mas klaro sa mga people we can send it to. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Ilagay mo yung merong yan eh. It's in my, merong sa yan.
So, Gardy,
it should refer to something.
konti lang tayong,
Oo. Kanya nasa telepono ko, hindi ko submit niyo. Pero meron yan. Oo, sige. Thank you.
Yes.
Daling hilang ng tubig.
2020 presents
Daling.
Hulmahan, establishing the rationale for the creation of an Academy of Philippine Theater. This is a project of the National Committee of Dramatic Arts, National Commission for Culture and the Arts, in response to a call for proposals for the year 2020. What are the objectives for Tampok? We would like to introduce this approved proposal on the Academy of Philippine Theater, and would like to start conversations to inform the possible blueprint for the Academy of Philippine Theater as a major program of the NCCA-CDA. What is the origin of the word academy? It comes from the Greek word akademia, the name of the park or grove outside of ancient Athens where the philosopher Plato taught his students. Just as school and parks today are often named after famous persons, the Academia had been named in honor of a Greek hero, Academos. Here we see a medieval representation by Raphael of Plato's Academy. According to the dictionary, an academy is a school usually above the elementary level, especially a private high school, or a high school or college in which special subjects or skills are taught. In higher education, it's used with the functions of the academy in modern society. When capitalized, academy would mean the school for advanced education founded by Plato. It can also mean the philosophical doctrines associated with Plato's academy. Also, it means a society of learned persons organized to advance art, science, or literature. It can also mean to be a body of established opinion, widely accepted as authoritative in a particular field. What is the history of this word, academy? Of course, as we know now, during the Greek period, Academia was a sanctuary of Athens, the goddess of wisdom and skill, north of Athens in Greece. From the medieval times to the early modern age, it would have meant institution of secondary education, higher learning or honorary membership, or society of learned persons organized to advance art, science, or literature, or a place of study of training in a special field, like the Académie Française in France, or the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences that awards the Nobel Prize. In recent times, it was used by the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, or RADA, in the UK, or the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences that awards the American Oscars. In the field of the theatrical art, a theater academy is best defined as a drama or theater school that specializes in the pre-professional training in drama and the theater arts. If the drama school is part of a degree-granting institution, undergraduates typically take an associate degree, a Bachelor of Arts, a Bachelor of Fine Arts, a Bachelor of Science or Design majoring in theater. Graduate students may also take a Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Fine Arts, Doctor of Arts, Doctor of Fine Arts, or Doctor of Philosophy degree majoring in the theater arts. Like in the Czech Republic, we still have the Divadlo Disc Theater School in Prague. Of course, the Shanghai Theater Academy in China, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London, and of course, the Juilliard School in New York, and the Seoul Institute of the Arts in Korea, Seoul. For the purposes of this proposal or plan, the author posits a tentative definition of theater academy as a major educational institution in the Philippines that shall offer with the highest standards of curriculum quality, a comprehensive gamut of theater and drama courses, both degree or certificate, taught by the best drama creators, practitioners, scholars in the country, provided to a vast range of theater clientele, from the individual wishing the highest professional training needed in the arts industry, to the community theater artists needing basic drama creation skills to advance community arts in their local environs, or to cultural educators needing theatrical acumen to integrate dramatic or theatrical strategies in their teaching of the arts, so that we have a more creative, relevant, and compelling arts across the curriculum education in the country today. At best, the Academy of Philippine Theater, or what the author would call variably as Surian ng Dulaang Pilipino, ang Akademya or Akademya ng Dulaang Pilipino, at ang Dalubhasaan ng Dulaang Pilipino. Whatever it may, this academy shall offer training and accreditation to Filipino drama creators with curricular and production programs anchored in the best of Philippine performance culture, research, aesthetics, and pedagogy, reflecting its diversity and virtuosity, complemented by enhancements from the best of non-Filipino theater, both from Asia and elsewhere in the world. Why is there a need for a theater academy in the Philippines? The NCCA Committee on Dramatic Arts, since 1998, was developing to become an institution in theater education, theater organizing, and theater production. And it has seen that creative talent in drama in the country deserves a more comprehensive and inclusive drama education and training. All these years, for almost 3 decades, It has mounted yearly training, research, and performance programs all over the country and has progressively seen this need to create a central and national ground of training to empower next generations of Filipino theater artists. It has seen the need to develop an institutionalized venue to prepare theater artists for careers in the theatrical art. The learnings, achievements, insights, and experiences of regional theater work is also close to epochal and colossal in its creativity, magnanimity of spirit, and proven relevance. There is also a need to synthesize all these community and school theater achievements and transform them into curricular trainings in the most professional standards. Lately, the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022 has a new chapter on culture. It has developed or has instated the establishment of the creative industries in the country, including the establishment of training programs in the various disciplines of arts and cultural heritage to drive the Philippines into a new age of the creative economy. Since the 70s, universities and colleges have developed art courses that culminate in drama degrees, like the Philippine Normal University, the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and the University of the Philippines in Diliman. Also, the La Salle University's College of St. Benilde and the Ateneo de Manila University. Outside the capital, in the regions, drama courses are taught in Dumaguete at Silliman University, in Cagayan de Oro at Liceo de Cagayan, and in Iligan City at the MSU Iligan Institute of Technology. Professional, school-based, and community-based drama groups and networks have developed drama workshops, training programs to equip their constituents and membership with the knowledge and skills of drama creation. And the number of these groups are really mushrooming by the years. Examples, of course, are all these groups that you see on the screen. And outside of that, there's about 20 other independent theater groups in the National Capital Region. These are groups outside Metro Manila, still actively creating theater in their own provinces and in their own regions. And outside of these drama groups, there are networks. And there would be 6 to 8 region-based theater and drama networks in our country. In Luzon, we have the Luzon Theater Network and other theater networks in the region. At the NCR, we have Alianza Inc. and GUSI. In the Visayas, we have TeatroCon. In Mindanao, Mindulani. And in Central Visayas, Tabok. But these are just a few of the networks in the country. Recently, the NCCA supported or has been supporting cultural mapping activities across the country. In our province, Bohol, we have identified a vast array of intangible cultural heritage with a high level of uniqueness, diversity, and significance from our performance traditions. And this include the Balitaw, the Kuradang, our Hugos or Salubong, and our Pastores or Daigon. What does this mean? These performance traditions can be sources of content and inspiration for the aspiring theater student or professional for the further protection and revitalization of heritage as they help interpret these legacies in the aesthetic and pedagogy modules of the Envisioned Theater Academy. In the last 20 years, The DepEd has launched the special program for the arts for junior high school, and in the last 4 years, arts and design for the senior high school. So this is a beautiful opportunity for young students to really be nurtured in the arts creation and specifically in drama creation. In the last 7 years, the NCCA and DepEd formed an agreement to help train SPA teachers in the delivery of these courses through teachers training and development of the arts curriculum through the Sanay Guro and Husay Sining programs. In the last 2 years, the CHED also established the BICAED or Bachelor in Arts and Cultural Education, which has a theater stream in the program. All these groups and institutions produce plays and develop the corresponding pedagogies on how to create drama in their specific context of purpose, audience, sector, or region. This bountiful harvest of experience is characterized by a variety of expertise, a wide range of homegrown modalities, streams of various discoveries and experiments that are attuned to local contexts, have local voices, and produce a multiplicity of theater training currents. Some borrowed or adapted from borrowed sources, some convergent, divergent, modified, and transformed in their fusions in time and place of implementations. Other totally original, but are all informed by a passionate search for the most appropriate creative strategy to draw the best of our people's theatrical potentialities. Thus, we see that there is a need to examine the curricular content and direction, specific concentration, or specialization of these groups. We would like to identify their particular thrusts, expertises, and strengths. How they would respond to the need to clarify the actual situation of drama and drama artists outside the big cities, the actual condition of our people. What are the actual needs of people? How their local contexts and cultures can best be the source for creating new theatrical forms or processes, so that we can bring them to a creative and collaborative space for dialogue, interaction, and exchange or resource sharing. This is a time that we can harness all these ideas to contribute to a more national, collaborative process and system of theater learning and drama education. The Cultural Center of the Philippines in 2017 organized the 5th National Theater Conference, which they called ANINAG. And this focused on 4 or 5 streams of theater modes of the creation. The folk, religious community theater practice, the new theater media and spaces, small independent theater groups, theater competitions and festivals, and theater linkages and advocacies. In a synthesis written by Ms. Amihan Ramolete, Associate Professor and Dean of the College of Arts and Letters of UP Diliman, who is also an artist, director, performer, especially of Teatro Mulat ng Pilipinas, she has this to say. In conclusion, this talk served as illuminating insights into how theater in the Philippines is constantly evolving. Numerous opposing viewpoints and objectives have led to a somewhat fractured theater ecosystem, but it is a fracture that can be rectified. Theater practitioners must continue to find new ways to engage not only their audience, but the theater community as a whole. By studying these 5 prisms, we are given a roadmap towards improving that ecosystem. By integrating aspects from all the talks given, we will be able to press forward with a greater understanding of the challenges that lie ahead in turning Philippine theater into a greater social-political force and into mainstream consciousness. What can be classified as Philippine theater is still up for debate. But what cannot be debated is the passion that emanates from every theater practitioner, whether it be related to personal goals or the improvement of the Philippine theater ecosystem as a whole. What is the direction of Philippine theater at these times? This was the magic question, the theme of the entire conference. Dr. Nicanor Johnson, eminent theater scholar and playwright, was requested to give his ideas on the direction of Philippine theater during these times. And as far as I remember, this would be my summary of his talk. For him, the direction of Philippine theater during these times must be towards raising consciousness on the truths that our people is experiencing and forging the capacity of theater to be a theater for change. What then is our current vision, or what could we propose to be the current vision, to be the future vision of this Academy of Philippine Theater? We'd like to inform you that this architectural drawing is an artist's or architectural conceptual image of a planned Central Visayas Regional Cultural Hub and does not necessarily reflect or prescribes a visual interpretation of the Academy. This is being used as a visual enhancement of the author's PowerPoint. This magic question can only be addressed if the national theater community agrees and resolves to form a body of theater leaders, theater educators, organizers, creators, both emerging and emblazoned through experience, dynamically creative, continuously evolving, competent, relevant, in tune with the times and needs of our people, committed to give birth to the establishment of an Academy of Philippine Theater, which shall from time to time provide the necessary orientation and operational strategies to guide the further advance of a truly diverse but harmonizing Philippine theater. So all of these groups have different but really very similar aspirations or needs. Heritage theater groups in particular would in the main prioritize to protect, revitalize, and sustain local heritage. Community independent theater groups would like to aspire to express local needs and aspirations. Academy-based drama programs and groups aspire to continuously provide venues for honing the art of the theater. And professional theater groups aspire to create gainful livelihood through the theater. But all of these groups have evolved their own orientation of vision, mission, and goals, artistic programs for production, pedagogy programs for training, and organizational strategies to sustain themselves. Thus, we see that theater in the communities, theater in the schools, theater in the cities, theater in our lives, theater in the regions. The CDA has seen this great harvest in the area of aesthetics and pedagogy and have seen the potential of this initiative as a great wellspring of resource towards upgrading theater training all over the country. This variety, this diversity, this multiplicity, this awesome range of creativeness must be orchestrated as our gift to the nation and can be configured to become a venue of collegial synergy and participatory collaboration. This collaborative process will hopefully create a national system or a national process of partnership towards curriculum building for a Philippine theater. Academy of Philippine Theater will see that the future student of the Academy will anchor in and be nourished by the treasured legacies of past theater cultural masters and will connect the theater technologies, portraying in the most genuine, pure, selfless, and creative manner their most personal response to the zeitgeist of the time. The aim of Hulmahan, which is the generation of the master plan, has more specifically these aims: to generate a plan for the development of a National Academy for Philippine Theater, a blueprint for planning operations and action for establishing the first national institution for theater and drama. It will include research, training, production, documentation, archiving, and applied theater for the creative industries, education, and social transformation. These are project deliverables, and these are the components of the plan. The raison d'etre for the establishment of the Academy, models from history and contemporary experiences, strategic directions and policies, vision, mission, goals, target market and clientele, the financials, target faculty and administrators, architectural guidelines, branding, market and feasibility studies, and organizational structures and operations. This is our pre-COVID work plan. As you notice, the activities will run from the organization of a national task force through preparation for regional national consultations to the conduct of regional and national consultations until we see the writing of this blueprint and again another validation from the national theater community before the actual production of the blueprint. And in each activity, there are expected outputs. But we had to redesign in terms of implementation and schedule these activities during this pandemic period. The activities will be using a modality or modalities that will adapt digital platforms. And this is our schedule for the year. So, mga kapatid sa Teatro ng Pilipinas, ito po ang aming plano, ang aming proposal kung paano tayo lilikha ng isang plano para sa paglikha, pagsuri at pagtayo ng isang Academy of Philippine Theater under the Committee of Dramatic Arts of the NCCA. Maraming pong salamat. Ito po ang Tampok 2020.
Wow! Bravo, Gardy! Kung pwede lang na bumukas ang kortina at lumabas ka, that was really impressive. At maraming salamat, no? Na-excite ako. Yes. You can unmute yourself, and if you want just to add something before we move to the yung overview of the next week's na Sabadulaan.
Akala ko hindi ito magagawa kasi last minute nagkaroon ng brownout kahapon ngayong umaga. Ito transfer po namin kasi from PowerPoint to video at mag-score pa. Dapat ginawa namin sa bahay ko sa Baclayon, Bohol. At biglang nagka-brownout sa Bohol. So naloka ako. So mabuti natawagan ko ang mga kaibigang nasa liderato. At salamat na lang at nakatulong ang National Museum Branch of Bohol kasi naka-generator sila at bumalik na rin ngayon. Pero kung wala yung generator na yun sa National Museum Branch, hindi namin magagawa ang scoring at saka yung editing nito. Okay? Salamat po. Papasalamat ako sa aming team, sa Kasing Sining, at saka sa lahat ng tumulong para gawin ito. Pero ito po ay inihaan natin sa lahat para suriin, tukiin, mag-ambag, para ito maging isang realidad. Salamat po.
Yes, oo. Salamat, Gardy. At hindi pa natatapos no, ang usapin ng Academia or Academy of Philippine Theater. But what I really appreciated is yung makita natin yung parang paghahabi, no? It's really different strands of work that we do in culture and heritage, no? Na kung paano mabibigyan ng space doon sa concept ng akademya. Yes, you were saying something, Gardy? You wanted to add anything, Gardy?
Yes. Gusto kong humingi ng paumanhin, paunawa. I'm sure gusto niyong makita yung mga pangalan ng lahat ng mga grupo. Wala na pong time at saka matanda na rin ako. Minsan nakakalimutan ko. So, kaya nga magkakaroon tayong sunod ng mga consultation at doon natin bibigyan ng mas makatotohanang recognition yung lahat ng drama groups, drama personalities na hindi na-mention dito. Ito lang po isang pambungan. Hindi po ako namimili lang kung ano po matandaan at mabasa. Okay, so the process will help make the whole project more inclusive. Salamat.
Ang ganda din ng isang image nung banga, no, yung hulmahan, kasi it's still something that's being shaped and will be reshaped because of the conversations. So as a convener po of Tampok 2020, I wanted to segue into an overview of ano po yung mangyayari in the next weeks at ano yung mga particular na tutok. As I said, what Gardy presented is yung maraming paghahabi or strands of the intersections of those strands, no, that hopefully will inform and shape yung Academy of Philippine Theater. So let's present please the PowerPoint. So basically, this is really shaped as conversations, no, pag-uusap, puntahan, no, because sabi nga natin, we are even with the presentation of Gardy, however comprehensive and massive it is still part of the ideation, no? Pagpapalabas ng mga pananaw, ng mga kuro-kuro, at paghahalaw mula sa ating napakayaman na karanasan bilang mga tao sa dulaan o sa tanghalan or theater makers, no? So for now, this is how it will go. So it will be every Saturday from 3 o'clock to 5:30 p.m. And let's go through each of the topics para maantabangan natin sa mga susunod na linggo. Next slide, please. So ngayong araw na to ay establishing the rationale for the Academy of Philippine Theater, no? So as it is, no, napakayaman ng pinaghuhugutan nitong initiative na to, no? And then sa August 8 ay establishing naman yung context for a Philippine Academy of Philippine Theater. Next week, ang makakasama naman natin si Dr. Clessy Atienza, who will present mga highlights lang po from previous theater conferences na dinaos sa ngalan ng NCCA Committee on Dramatic Arts at iba pang mga key conferences katulad ng sa Tanghal, no, which is the University, College, and Youth-based na theater network. Makakasama din natin si Professor Arvin Villalon, na kasama ni Gardy dun sa Philippine Cultural Values Formation na study, no, na ginanap. Also, para lang ma-pick up natin, ano ba ang kahalagahan nitong academy in relation to that, yung mga Philippine values na talagang we hold dearly in our hearts. And finally, makakapiling din po natin si Brother Carl Gaspar from Mindanao, one of our most dedicated and longest na serving cultural worker sa Mindanao. So he is joining us to also talk about a little bit dun sa ano ba yung current challenges or social context ng teatro, no, na ginagalawan natin. And then sa August 15, we would look at the theater and heritage in relation to establishing the Academy of Philippine Theater. So we would have some key informants from Bicol, Leyte, Davao, and Bohol. No? Dahil bagamat marami nagtatrabaho in heritage work, dito po yung talagang makikita natin yung intersection nga ng theater and heritage. And then we will look naman into theater and education. So we will invite key theater personalities and teachers and mga partners natin sa UP, sa Mindanao State University IIT, sa Ateneo and DLSU sa Benilde. No? And then we move to the professional theater. Although marami nga yan na nabanggit ni Gardy, some of the key ones na talagang mahaba-haba na rin ang kanilang ang trabaho nila sa curriculum especially would be PhilStage, which is a network of professional theater groups in Manila. Ang PETA, serving for more than 50 years, and ang Tanghalang Pilipino ng Cultural Center of the Philippines. Next slide, please. Then we move to our September offerings. Meron naman po sa larangan ng governance, creative industries, and also social development. Ano ang ugnayan nito sa teatro? So this is in the broad category of theater in development. We are inviting key personages from Capiz, from Malolos, Bulacan, from Calbayog in Samar, and also from Bohol. And then sa September 12, we are also organizing among the bigger networks, no, of theater groups. So this is on theater organizing and networking in relation to establishing the Academy of Philippine Theater. So we have groups like Luzon from a Luzon network, Alianza in NCR, Teatrocon and Tabok from Visayas, and Mindolani sa Mindanao. We will also have a very special event on that day, no? Kasi magandang dahil produkto din po ito ng networking ay ang e-launching ng Tipanan, which is antolohiya ng mga dula mula sa universidad at kolehiyo ng College of Arts and Letters Foundation. Again, napaka-importanting resource para sa atin, no, na magkaroon ng anthology of mga scripts. So, antabangan po din natin yan. And to be confirmed lang po, as we speak na nanganganak, but we also felt a need to gather, youth or young people's theater practitioners to have a voice. Anong nakikita nilang pangangailangan naman sa Academy of Philippine Theater. And also to include international theater institutes such as the Intercultural Theater Institute sa Singapore, but also the Seoul Institute of the Arts, no, from Korea and other groups. Next slide, please. So, ang basic ano po natin sa mga susunod na webinars after nung starting sa webinar 3 would be parang again 2 to 2.5 hours. May welcome remarks tayo ng NCDA, then may overview ng topic for that particular webinar by the conference director or moderator. And then ang panel of discussants, ideally from between 3 to 4 lang po para mas mahaba-haba yung panahon. We'll offer a short introduction of the work kasi bagamat importante ano po yung context ng kanilang trabaho, ito po ay napag-usapan na rin sa iba pang mga previous na conferences. So this is just a sneak preview nung kanilang trabaho, focusing also on yung kanilang curriculum or trabaho both sa performance and pedagogy. Pagkatapos nun ay magkakaroon na po sila ng input nila at may tututukan po silang 3 tanong na sana po sa ating mga manonood ay pwede nyo ring pagdilay-nilayan. Next slide please. So ito po yung 3 basic questions, no? Parang launching pad for deeper reflection. Ang una po, batay sa inyong mayamang karanasan sa dulaan, ano ang maiaambag nito sa paghuhugis ng linangan ng dulang Pilipino or Academy of Philippine Theater? So based on your context, praxis, and pedagogy, how can these contribute to the shaping of the Academy of Philippine Theater? Ikalawa po ay, para sa iyo, ano ang pinakamahalagang kaalaman at kakayahan na dapat ituro sa linangan o sa academy? At anong pamamaraan ng pagtuturo na aangkop rito? No? What should be the content and methodology of the Academy of Philippine Theater? Kasi sabi nga natin, marami na ang ginagawa ng iba't ibang mga grupo. Ano kaya ang role ng Academy as a value added, no? Doon sa pupunuan din for the networks. And then ang ikatlo ay, ano ang nakikita ninyong struktura, physical or organisasyon ng linangang ito, the academy? What should the structure, whether physical, human, or organization look like for the academy? Kasi bagamat may nakita tayong very wonderful na architectural design, pero malamang we also have our own ideas, no, or mga pananaw dito. Next slide, please. So pagkatapos nun, there will be an open forum among the panel discussants, but also from other attendees and yung iba po na magko-comment po via Facebook live streaming under the page of the NCCA Committee on Dramatic Arts. No? And then we also ask for key people, mga friends and scholars natin to provide the synthesis for the session. Again, note from starting next week po, ibubukas na po natin sa, lalo na sa mga theater practitioners, ang Zoom webinar. No? Pero may registration, very easy registration process na dadaan. So next please. So Tampok Sabadulaan, puntahan tungkol sa dulaan tuwing Sabado or Saturday Conversations on Theater. We hope to see you for the next weeks, no? Every Saturday from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sige, end of slide. Okay, so at this point, no, so nakita natin na yung pinesent ni Gardy kanina ay magiging ito na yung magiging lalamanin din ng ating mga Sabadulaan sa mga susunod na linggo. Pero at this point, we also invited na mga kapiling natin ng ilang kasapi ng NCCA Committee on Dramatic Arts para sa kanilang reflections, thoughts, questions na related sa presentation ni Gardy at siyempre nakaugat din sa kanilang mayamang karanasan. Ang una po, mula po sa Luzon. Buti na lang hindi masyadong malakas ang bagyo sa Los Baños, no? Ay si Ginoong Edward Perez. Si Edward po ay Executive Director of the Arts Research and Training Institute of Southern Tagalog, Inc. or Artist, Inc. He's currently the Vice Head of the Committee on Dramatic Arts of NCCA. Siya po ay Stage Director, Playwright, at 6 na po sa kanyang mga plays ay recipient ng Don Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards for Literature. So atin pong i-welcome at pakinggan si Edward Perez. Kuya Edward.
Hello. Magandang hapon po. Naririnig po ba ako?
Naririnig ka namin.
Yes, maraming salamat po. Actually, hindi ko alam kung paano mag-react kasi nakaka-overwhelm, nakakatuwa. Finally, magkakaroon ng ganitong articulation ng tinatawag na akademiya. Imagine mo kasi I was a part of the unang PCCA pa na, Presidential Commission for Culture and the Arts, and then naging National Commission for Culture and the Arts, at ang dramatic group o mga theater groups ay nangunguna sa pagpapakita ng kultura at mga usaping panlipunan ng bansa. At marami nagsusulputan na pangkat pangkultura, even theater groups, even pa bago pa man magkaroon ng PCCA. At sa tinagal ng panahon, ang mga unang naglunsad ng mga national theater, even international theater festival, mga theater groups na nakalink sa NCCA. So nakakatuwa na ma-articulate yung ganitong konsepto ng pagtatayo ng akademiya ng dulaan. At pagbati sa nagpahayag nito, nag-present nito si Ginoong Gardy Labad. Of course, pagbati rin sa previous term ng Committee on Dramatic Arts na pinangungunahan ni Ma'am Desa, at saka the previous year ni nandun din si Sir Gardy, at saka si naging chair din si
Jazz
Liana. Kasi it took years para magkaroon ng hugis at ma-articulate itong tinatawag na akademiya. Of course, marami pang challenges. Siyempre, kumbaga nasa unang hakbang na tayo eh. Buti pa nga yung mga magtatayo ng high school for the arts eh. Kasi ito marami ng paghahalawang karanasan at nagsusulputan sa mga rehiyon. Pero ito sa bahagi natin sa akademiya, sa kaso ng Pilipinas, marami naman tayong paghahango ang karanasan sa ibang bansa, pero sa Pilipinas, marahil ito yung kauna-unahan. Ano? So maraming challenges din. Ito bagay lalagpas sa high school level, ito ba'y tutungtong sa usapin ng tertiary. Ngayon, pag umabot ka naman sa tertiary, medyo malaking challenge din how to deal with higher education institution, in particular, how to deal with CHED para i-recognize ito. Other than the question, siyempre, na binanggit na kanina, na ni-raise na katanungan. Siyempre, palagay ko, malaki ang magiging bahagi ng mga region. Gaya ng sinabi ni Gardy, posibleng hindi niya nabanggit yung ibang rehiyon, pero I suppose maraming karanasan ang mga rehiyon na pwedeng ibahagi. Sa particular, halimbawa yung curriculum development ng mga rehiyon. Sa Luzon, the oldest theater company ay, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, 1977. And then karamihan ay nag-exist pa 1985, 87, and the rest, marami pa mga bago-bago. Pero ibig sabihin, mahigit 33 years na ang mga pangkat. Ang Artists Incorporated ay 33 years. Ang Barusin Karinangan, kung hindi ako nagkamali, 40 years. And other groups na nandyan na mayroong paghanguan ng mga karanasan sa curriculum development, sa physical structure, paano tayo mag-setup, so sources of funds. Pwede ba nating itap yung other than NCCA, of course, yung ating mga champions, culture champions sa loob ng kongreso, ano mga ahensya that would also raise funds to support this concept. Marami pa tayong pag-uusapan. And to some extent, siguro paano natin ma-fast track, no? Paano natin maagapan, mapabilis. Hindi sa nagmamadali tayo, pero merong mga ibang larangan like the sports, nakapwesto ng Academy of Sports. Ang usapin ng gawaing teatro, matagal na usapin na rin na pinagsisikapan ng maraming alagad ng teatro. So malaking bagay kung mapapabilis natin. Well, depende sa ating kakayahan pagpaplano yung paano siya formal na mabubuo. Well, it will of course depend lahat this year. Kaya na nabanggit na yung blueprint ang magiging salalayan ng lahat. Yung blueprint na mabubuo this year would also be the basis of the programs or the 3 years upcoming program for 3 years ng Committee on Dramatic Arts. So yun lamang po. Congratulations sa naglatag kay Ginoong Gardy Labad, sa grupo ng Yata, sa iba pa, at of course sa artikulasyon na ginawa ng Committee on Dramatic Arts sa pamumuno ng 3 magkakasunod nating tagapangulo. At syempre yung tagapangulo natin ngayon na masigasig, si Ginoong Pilimon Blanco. Congratulations po sa ating lahat. Yun lamang po.
Oo, maraming salamat, Ginoong Edward Perez. At,
Salamat, Ginoong Edward.
oo nga, kasi alam namin,
Mahal
napakayang,
kita.
matagal-tagal na tayong magkakasama din.
Oo
ano?
nga, oo.
Gusto ko lang pong sabihan na for all our panel of reactors, kung pwede po i-accept ninyo yung pagiging panelist, no? Para po makita ang mukha ninyo.
Nakita ba mukha ko?
Hindi kasi
Ay,
hindi mo
nako.
daw in-accept.
Hindi ko nakita. Saan ba pinipindot yun?
Basta may invitation to become a panel, you accept. And then para po yung sa live streaming din po ay makikita ang mga mukha ninyo.
Naku,
no?
dinaramdam ko. Hindi
Pero
ko pumasok.
naramdaman namin ang passion at paninindigan kahit sa boses mo, kay ikaw naman ay mang-aawit. Anyway,
Imagine nyo na lang si buhok ni Yesu Cristo na sa harapan nyo.
sige po. So
Maraming
sundan na po
salamat po.
natin. Salamat uli, Edward. Ang susunod, sana ay natanggap na niya ang pagiging panelist, ay mula naman sa NCR. No, ito po ay si Roberto Bobet Mendoza. No, siya po ay kasalukuyang ex-com member din ng NCDA. At siya po ang chairperson ng Humanities Department at Director of the Culture and Arts Program of the Manila Titana Colleges. He also is the Artistic Director of Haraya Artists Ensemble of Titana and the General Secretary of Alianza, Inc. And ang founding chairperson ng Guro sa Sining ng Bayan, Incorporated. Bobet, kamusta na? Please,
Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Pasensya na po, nasa biyahe pa. Galing po ako sa libing ni Manny, kaya po nasa sasakyan pa po. Opo. Okay, aking reaction kasi habang nakikinig kanina, siguro maging mindful or parang sabihin natin pag-isipan at saka babantayan, yun yung magandang tingnan dito, i-consider natin sa mga, siguro sa akin parang tatlong malalaking konsepto. Una, yung konsepto ng akademya, yung creative economy, at saka yung kaugnay nito ng social transformation. Okay, bakit yung tatlo yung naisip ko? Ang nakita ko. Sa academy, of course, kung pagbabatayan natin, siyempre paghuhugutan ko ang edukasyon sa Pilipinas, the educational system in the Philippines, na pag pinag-usapan natin, the design of educational system is to create or to produce na mga manggagawa actually, no? Pag-produce ng mga mag-aaral na magagamit ng mga kasalukuyang negosyo sa Pilipinas ng mga multinational and transnational corporation. Ibig sabihin, based sa karanasan natin sa edukasyong umiiral sa Pilipinas, hindi pangunahing layunin nito ay ang pagkakatuto, kundi ang diploma para magamit sa pagtatrabaho. Sa panahon ngayon at aral ng pandemya, magandang pag-isipan ito na sa panahon ng pandemya, makikita natin na ang edukasyon, ang konsepto ng learning ay napaka-importante. Sa ngayon, nasasabihin natin na ang pangako ng edukasyon ay trabaho. Dati, kinasanayan natin pag nakapag-aral ka may trabaho. Pero ang realidad ay wala naman trabaho. Magandang pag-isipan ito, no? In relation sa pagtatayo ng akademya. Anong klase ng mga kabataang taga-teatro o mga artista ang ating ipoproduce? No? Anong klase ng mga guro sa teatro ang dapat i-produce? Kaya dapat babantayan talaga ito. Kaugnay na rin ang ating karanasan right after the EDSA Revolution. Iko-connect ko na to sa sinasabi nating social transformation. Since panahon pa ng EDSA Revolution, ay sinasabi na natin na kailangan natin ng pagbabago. Ang teatro ay para sa pagbabago. At napatunayan din naman talaga natin ito na sa panahon na yan ay walang mass media, wala pa social media. Talagang teatro, ang sining ang naging pinakapangunahing kasangkapan upang ilantad ang sinasabi nga kanina, binanggit yon yung sinasabi ni Dr. Chong Son, yung concept ng truth, no? Truth telling, pagsasabi ng totoo. At patunayan natin yan. Pero right after the EDSA Revolution, maganda uling bantayan. Ano ang nangyari? What happened? No? Parang na sa loob ng alam ko na nasa gobyerno tayo, pero taas loob kong sasabihin, at ito'y tanong, no? Tanong natin ito. Sa loob ng nakaraang EDSA Revolution, after ng 40 ilang taon na ba, 1986, may 30 taon o 40 taon na ba? Parang ganun, more or less, no? Ang ibig sabihin, ano ang nagawa after the EDSA Revolution? Bakit ang tingin pa rin sa teatro, sa sining ay hindi pangunahin? Anong nagawa natin dito, no? Bakit sa panahon ng pandemya at kung magkakautang-utang ang gobyerno, bakit si CP ang ibebenta? Bakit hindi bakit ang hindi ibang ibang ahensya? Sa panahon naman ngayon wala nang kwenta. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman kailangan sa panahon ng COVID, di ba? At di naman natin masasabi na babalik agad tayo sa normal at ang COVID virus ay mawawala. Habang buhay na natin kasama yan at baka meron pang ibang virus na lumating. Magandang pag-isipan at saka magandang bantayan. Paano natin itatayo itong akademya para sa proseso na hindi na maulit yung karanasan at hindi ito magsilbing simpleng sabihin natin ay parang trend ng konsepto ng negosyo o connected sa tinatawag nating konsepto ng iba, parang industry lang talaga. Anong klaseng industry itong pag-uusapan natin dito? Okay, kaya pagkakataon din yung edukasyon para sabihin natin na baka itong academy ang ating paraan para sabihin natin magbago talaga ang ating kalagayan at sa darating na mga henerasyon. Sana baka ito nga ang simula ng pagbabago, hindi lang sa usapin ng sining, kundi sa kabuuan ng edukasyon sa bansa. Magandang hapon po. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Bobet. At again, taus-pusong pakikiramay, pakikidalamati sa ating lahat dahil tayo ay nawala ng isa nating napakabuting artist, mentor, and friend. No? So, sa ngayon naman, pumunta naman tayo, dumako tayo sa Visayas. No? Nagaling naman sa Bacolod, si Ginoong Rick Salanap. No? Si Rick started as an actor and community cultural worker at the Christian Community Theater during his high school days. And as a member and now the artistic director of Colegio San Agustin Bacolod's Canlaon Theater Guild, he's involved and participated in programs and projects initiated by CCP and NCCA, such as Tanghal, Tampok, Mugna, Hanas, Sanayguro, and the National Theater Festival, and outreach programs, to name a few. Currently, he is organizing his new community-based theater group named Dagyao Experimental Theater, and currently is an ex-con member of the NCCA Committee on Dramatic Arts, representing Region 6 or the Western Visayas. So, Ginoong Rick, no, welcome at sana mag-cooperate ang connection. Sige, let's hear your reactions, please.
Magandang hapon sa lahat. Ako po ay nagagalak at ngayon ay mayroon tayong tampok, no? Kahit na mayroon tayong pandemya, ito ay mahabang usapan kung ito ba ay matutuloy o hindi. Last year, nung nag-attend kami ng tampok, napag-usapan na yung konsepto ng Philippine Theater Academy. And kami sa mga kabataan, excited kami kasi parang ito yung magbibigay ng hulma o form sa amin sa mga bagong henerasyon sa teatro kung paano ba talaga natin ilalahad sa mga manunood yung kultura at arte ng bawat rehiyon o sa buong bansa. At ngayon, nagpatuloy ito, hindi siya naputol at makikita talaga na seryoso yung sektor ng teatro para magkaroon tayo ng Philippine Theater Academy. So, una sa lahat, congratulations po kay Sir Gardy sa pagbigay nitong isang overwhelming na konsepto kung ano ba yung dapat na magiging platform ng ating Philippine Theater Academy. Una sa lahat, nakikita ko na mayroon na tayong mga venue na maaari nating mabigay unti-unti para magkaroon tayo ng mindset doon sa mga, especially sa mga estudyante na nag-aaral ng teatro o mayroong passion sa teatro. Kasi high school mayroon na tayong SPA. For the senior high school, mayroon na tayong performing arts strand para sa arts track. At sa college, mayroon na tayong BCAED. Actually, yung isang apprehension namin sa kumukuha ngayon ng mga BCAED sa ganitong school, yung pioneer batch ng BCAED. Kasi medyo malabo pa yung curriculum na ginagamit nila. Hindi pa talaga alam kung saan ba talaga pupunta after makagraduate sila ng BCAED. Ano ba yung batayan nila? No, especially doon sa teatro, paano nila ituturo ito sa mga estudyante nila kapag sila guro na. So sana magkaroon ng unti-unting plano o konsepto, paano ito ituturo ng mga SPA teacher sa kanilang estudyante, tapos pupunta sila doon sa performing arts track at saka sa BCAED. So para hindi mabigla yung mga estudyante rin o nag-aaral ng mga pang-teatro na kaalaman. Pangalawa, sa amin sa sektor ng mga teatro dito sa rehiyon, paano ba kami makaka-contribute? Paano ba namin maibigay yung mga existing na mga research, mga existing material na meron kami na pwede siya ma-contribute doon sa paghulma ng Philippine Theater Academy. Sana mayroon tayong unti-unti parang portal kung saan pwede namin masubmit, magkaroon tayo ng inventory ng mga teatro sa buong Pilipinas, school-based, community-based, government-based o ibang sektor. Kasi baka hindi natin alam, mayroon sila mga processes na maaari ding makatulong doon sa paghulma ng Philippine Theater Academy. So baka masimulan ito sa CDA o sa NCCA website na doon tayo makapag-submit ng mga materyales para magkaroon ng malawak na pag-aaral sa pagbuo ng Philippine Theater Academy. Pangatlo, paano ba tayo magsisimula? No? Saan tayo magsisimula? Kailan tayo magsisimula? Kahit mga unti-unting paraan lang. Paano ba ito magagawa ng mga teatro para hindi siya tumagal, no? Baka kasi next year pa ito o baka susunod pa na taon. So sa panahon ng pandemya, paano natin unti-unti matutulungan ang paghabi ng kalinangan ng Philippine Theater Academy. Pang-apat, sa CDA siguro, sa amin, sa committee, ano ba yung magiging role namin sa pagbuo nito, saan kami pwesto para makatulong doon sa proyekto. Although this is magiging flagship project ito ng CDA. Pero sa ngayon, paano namin ito magagawa na sa paghulma nito is unti-unti siya but continuous yung pag-aaral, pag-contribute para makabuo ng Philippine Theater Academy. Kasi last year, napag-usapan siya, parang isang taon talaga yung gap. No? Mahaba yung gap. So kung mayroon tayong at least yung mga checklist lang na ito yung mga kailangan natin, no? Ito yung mga small things na kailangan natin para pumunta doon sa Philippine Theater Academy. So ito yung mga puntos na nakikita ko kanina, no, sa sharing ni Sir Gardy. At siyempre kami rin sa teatro, excited din kami, no, para magkaroon tayo ng unified, no, na pag-aaral ng Philippine Theater. Ano ba talaga ito? No, hindi siya parang regionalization yung nangyayari. Kasi bawat region kailangan mag-contribute doon sa isang akademya na kung saan kahit sa amin sa school-based or sa community-based, mayroon kaming platform na sinusunod para mag-push yung cultural arts ng Philippine, no, para at least mayroon tayong outline na ginagawa to contribute doon sa Philippine Theater Academy. So yun lang po yung nakikita ko ng mga points na pwede kong ma-react doon sa talk ni Mr. Gardy at saka sa webinar na ito. Magandang hapon po at maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Rick, no? At listening to you also gives us great joy kasi alam namin kayo na yung mga susunod na henerasyon, ano? Na kayo na yung mga nagsimula nung high school pa nga at ngayon ay namumuno na. So these are really mga positibong na developments na alam naming mapapagpatuloy natin itong gawain ito. And then now let's listen also before we give Gardy an opportunity to to respond sa maraming mga kuro-kuro at pagninilay. Pakinggan naman natin from Mindanao ang ating kapatid na si Romeo F. Narvaez from General Santos City in Mindanao. Sabi niya, his affection with theater and Mindanao cultural work began with his involvement with the MSU Sining Cambayoca. Di ba sabi namin maraming ipinanganak ang MSU Sining Cambayoca. And he was there at the time when at the helm of Sining Cambayoca was Frank G. Rivera. So shout out kay Frank Rivera. This was in the late 1970s and the early 1980s. When Mindanao, in his own words, was all agog with protest theater and Mindanao cultural work was so alive. So in General Santos City, he became engrossed with coming up with activities and theater dedicated sa pagtanum og kalinaw or sowing the seeds of peace. So mga kaibigan, let us all welcome si Mr. Romeo Narvaez, who will join us via, I think voice.
Hello, good afternoon. Di ba, wala man ko na-receive na, tawag nun? Invitation.
For to be a panelist. Oo.
Sige na lang. Mabuti na lang hindi nyo makikita ang mukha ko. Okay, mayong hapon sa tanan.
Pagpakita ka, Romy.
Ano po?
Pagpakita ka.
Hindi ko alam kung sabi nila meron invitation to panelists.
Okay. Miss na kita.
Sure. Mabuti yang hindi mo ako makikita para hindi mo ako i-maldisyon. Okay. Diyos ko, kabado ako kasi si Gardy Labad ang kaharap natin dito. Kanina, nagsimula si Gardy sa kanyang presentation, biglang nag-brown out dito sa General Santos sa area ko. Pagbalik ng ilaw, ang naabutan ko na mga terms na galing doon kay, sino yun? Siya Mulat, Teatro Mulat, yung fractured theater ecosystem. Parang hindi ko maintindihan kung ano yung fractured theater ecosystem. Okay, ganito lang. Anong Gardy, when we were still together sa committee, yung galing ka sa Asia, nagtutur ka parang intellectual, Asian intellectual, whatever, meron kang scholarship.
API, Asian Public Intellectual.
Oo. Yun ang hinihintay ko na kasama doon sa, I'm sure first draft pa ito, sa presentation mo. Hindi ko masyadong makuha or maaninag yung experience mo doon. Kasi sa feeling lang because I was never, I remember hindi ako UP graduate, hindi ako Lasal graduate, hindi ako Ateneo graduate. Taga Mindanao lang talaga ako. And I was never out to South Korea. I went to Shanghai Academy pero went man lang yun na suri-suri. Pero wala akong experience. Ang hinahanap ko lang yung exposure mo doon sa Asia. Baka pare-pareho siya ng hugis sa atin dito sa Philippines. Kasi ang impression ko para siyang masyadong Western. How about yung Asian experience or na-observe mo doon? I think Philemon has also that exposure. Sana masali niyan. I am pointing this out because during sa election time, yung lumabas na itong academia, I was so worried that ma-avalanche tayo ng mga taga-eskwelahan, So yung theater experience natin from Luzon, National Capital Region, Visayas and Mindanao na sa kalsada, yung tinatawag namin dito sa Mindanao na hard knocks, yung hindi pinag-aralan sa eskwelahan, baka mawala siya. So that was the fear na in-express ko. And since ikaw nang yun nandyan, sigurado ako na hindi yan siya mawala. Being PETA, being right there sa dalan, sa teatro, at may tiwala talaga ako hindi yan siya mawawala. Ang the point of raising this again, baka alam mo tayo, tumatanda na tayo, baka baka ibang tao ang magsaluan ng project, then the direction iba ang pupuntahan. Yun lang. Yung experience, I'm always bothered doon sa salitang upgrading. I'm also bothered with the idea of centralized academy. Pero alam naman natin yung idea, doon pa yan siya na float na dapat maraming centers because yun ang reality. Siguro yung pagka-archipelagic natin, but I think it's more of yung kultura kasi natin magkaiba. From Luzon, Manila, Visayas, and then sa Mindanao. Kaya I emphasize on your experience, your exposure to Asian theater. Baka meron tayong makita roon. Yun lang po.
Alright, maraming salamat, Romy, Narvaez at Mabuhay. We will also figure out this technology sa Zoom. But let's take this opportunity para siguro makarespond din si Gardy sa ilan sa mga binring up ng ating mga panel of reactors. Gardy?
Okay, salamat sa apat na mga beloved reactors. Matagal na rin tayong nagsama-sama. Itong mga questions na ito ay talagang ni-struggle out natin for so many years. Okay? At kung sasabi ko, mag-react din ako, pero ang mga sagot dito ay talagang lalamnan natin sa mga susunod pang mga webinars. No? Pero I will just say some comment. Yung aking dating doon sa mga narinig ko. Una, nagpapasalamat ako sa inyo, sa inyong napakagandang mga observation, Edward, Bobet, Rick, at saka si Romy. Okay. First, Edward, yes, maraming grupong hindi ko na nakisama at yan ay isasama natin sa susunod pang mga talakayan kasi past lang naman yan. Yung actual pagsusulat niyan, mas malalim pa. Ang pagsusuri kasi at yung consultation hindi natatapos even sa webinar. Hindi natin magagawa lahat yon. Kaya may prosesong pagformal na sa atin ang project, no? Kung ibigay ng grant, hindi lang itong webinar ang magiging source ng information. Talagang susulatan, makikipagpanayam sa mga iba-ibang mga grupo na inadvertently nakaligtaan dito. Both historically at hanggang ngayon, nabuo pa yung mga grupong yan. Thank you for that reminder. Bobet, napakaganda at napakatotoo yung iyong naisabi. Okay? Yan ay tatalakayin doon sa pagsusuri ng kalagayan ng bansa in the different scenes na mangyayari sa susunod pang webinar. Okay? Or susunod pang mga talakayan every Saturday. Napaka-importante. Ang naka-emphasize ko ay ang pagsasama-sama ng mga karanasan. Ang na-emphasize ni Bobet ay ang paghuhubog ng tao. Okay? Yung ano bang klaseng mga estudyante ang ipanganganak dito? Ano bang klaseng mga guro ang ating bibigyan ng training? Okay? Anong pagkakaiba ng kanilang kamalayan pag nagdaan na sila rito sa akademya? Okay? hindi pwedeng the same sila sa iba pang mga theater school. Okay? Iba kasi ang pangangailangang sinasagot nito. At ang sinasagot nito, na tumbok na ni Kuya Robert, ay ang pagbabago. Okay? Yun ay tamang-tama. At kung sana maramdaman ng iba pang mga kilusan sa teatro ngayon, na lalong-lalo na sa pandemya, okay, ano ba ang konsepto ng pagbabago ngayon? Diba? No? Nagkapatong-patong mga suliranin ng bayan. Political, economic, health, lahat. Pag mawala tayo roon, madaling mawala yung direksyon. Diba? So, thank you, Babet, sa pagpapanariwa ng ganong focus. No? Hindi lang sa kaalaman kung paano gawin ng teatro, pero para kanino ba ang teatro. Okay? Sa pangatlo, si Rick, tuwang-tuwa ako, parang press kong talagang kabataan, talaga, di ba, iba? Pero I'm sure hindi ka na ganun kasing bata, no? Okay. Pero ano ka na, young adult, no? Talagang kayo na ang magbubuo, kayo na ang magtutuloy sa pagbabago ng mundong ito, no? Hindi namin siguro maaabot yung totoong pagbabago. Okay? So, maraming salamat. Totoo, napakarami nyo ng, maski sa kabataan nyo, marami na kayong ginawang mga roots of your effort sa local na ito ay dapat maihain. Dapat itong ma-integrate, malaman ng buong bayan na ay may ginagawa itong sektor, itong grupo na ito, sa province na ito, yung research ninyo. Napakaganda ng research nyo sa folk theater, kung paano yung iba sa Arsbela dyan, with the nurturing nila Rudy, nila Tanya, okay, nila Eric. Napakaganda yung, kaya kasi nga talagang dating dito talagang isang tapestry, no? Isang tapestry ng mga karanasan. Pero dapat ang tapestry ito, meron siyang harmonizing element. At baka nga doon kay Bobet o sa iba pa, ano ba mag-harmonize itong lahat ng ito? Hindi lang dapat ito virtuosity. Virtuosity para saan? Okay? At Kuya Romy, ay, napaka-focus ng inyong sharing, yung pang-aking karanasan sa Asian theater. Totoo. Hindi ko na ata na ipasok yun. Siyempre, nalagay ko yung Korea, yung Shanghai, pero hindi lang yun eh. Kaya ginawa natin yung Likha Asia, nakita natin yung ibang Asian countries, nagde-develop na kanilang mga struggles also to create their voice, di ba? Sa tourism, sa creative industry, sa teatro, kung paano nila, actually sa Indonesia, kung paano bawat region may kanya-kanyang way of doing theater. Okay? At kung paano isang community umakyat ang kanilang status, kanilang quality of life dahil sa teatro sa Bali. So, tama, nakaligtaan yon at ating sasama yon sa kabuuang At saka tama ka rin, kung ikaw ay na-electrify pag marinig kang upgrading. O ano pa yung isa? Ano pa yung isang word sa upgrading at saka ano yun, Romy?
Hindi ko ma-remember.
Dalawa yun. Ha?
Centralized.
Centralized. That is, para sa akin, hindi ko ginamit. Wala kang maririnig, wala kang makikita ng centralized sa ano. Sapagkat pag sinentralize masyado, lahat tayo ay oo lang din. Okay? Kailangan mag-harmonize ang pagkakaiba natin. Paano? Yun ang gagawin natin yung paano na yan. Okay? Pero napakaganda kasi you reminded me of the other things that we should also look at. Okay? So yun, maraming salamat at we will take note ng lahat ng sinabi niyo. Salamat.
Okay, yay! Maraming salamat, Gardy, no? At tulad nga ng sinabi mo, ito ay jump start lang. Parang mitya pa lang dun sa pag-uusap na mas malaliman. At this point, originally po ay aanyayahan po namin ang magbibigay ng synthesis at summary para ngayong hapon. Pero nawalan po yung connection. Katulad nung iba, like si Rick din, pero nakabalik si Rick, no? So hindi po natin mapapakinggan ngayon si Miss Vanessa Hebron. Pero nangako siya na ipapadala niya yung synthesis. So siguro sa paraan lang ng some of the key nodal points. I think yung in setting up the rationale for the academy, sabi nga natin, ito ay produkto na ng isang historical na process, no? Hindi ito isang term lang or ano. Actually, siguro panahon pa nila Andres Bonifacio ay gusto na nilang linangin ang kultura na mapagpalaya at totoo at makatotohanan, no? Pero ang nakita natin is from something like the global philosophical context ng academy from the Greeks or the nakita din natin na may pulso na nanggaling mula sa ating sariling mga konteksto from our own cultures. Actually, sabi nga natin, ang mga unang academy siguro ay yung mga ritualist natin at saka yung sa ating communities na nagtuturo ng mga bata kung paano i-defend ang kanilang mga villages, kung paano magtanim ng patatas at kung paano mag-survive in this in their environments. But basically, nakita nga natin na na-appreciate natin na yung intersection ng iba't ibang strands ng kultura at ng development ay naihain o nailatag. And ang mahalaga nga, pag nailalatag ang isang bagay, ay nabibigyan tayo ng isang springboard, no, para mas mapagyaman pa yung mga pananaw dito. Sabi nga natin, yung issues kunwari din ng inclusivity, no, na makita una natin na sino ang nandito sa bilog na to at sino ang wala pa sa bilog na to. So siguro yun there's an open invitation to those who have something important to say because they are stakeholders natin sila ay naging bahagi ng kilusan. At maramdaman ninyo po sana na kayo ay imbitado, kayo ay inaanyayahan dito sa pag-uusap na ito. Nandun din nga yung sinasabi na tanganan natin ang orientation na ito ay hindi lamang paghubog ng artistry o ng craft or even ng philosophy ng ating mga tao, pero ng pagkatao na lilinang sa mga susunod na henerasyon din, no? Again, yung nabanggit din na truth-telling, no? Lalo na sa panahon ngayon. At syempre, ang sabi nga na paano natin masiselebrate ang pagdiwang, ang rich resource din sa regions, which are often kung meron mang research ay hindi siya nalalathala, no, hindi natin nababasa. So silipin natin ano yung mga naisulat na tungkol sa ating mga regional forms at maganda na including yung hindi lang sa traditional pero yung mga community theater experiences at paano ito makaka-inform din doon sa paghuhulma, no, ng akademya. And finally, openness din, no, na pag-aralan anong nangyayari sa kalakhan ng Asia. And some of the safeguards din na sinasabi na siguro pag-aralan natin what we mean by certain terms like upgrading, no? Ano ba yung dynamics ng centralization doon sa yung respeto din doon sa nuance ng bawat regional networks, yung kanilang pangangailangan, yung kanilang mga resources din. So alam ko may hanggang 5:30 may isa pa tayong okay, Bobet, short sana na no? Sige, please.
Padagdag lang kay Sir Gardy. Kasi meron tayong experience during your time about the National Theater Organization and you decided during that time that we should start sa NUCTU, the National University and colleges theater organization. I think it's very important experience na magandang masama sa pag-aaralan natin in relation to academy.
Oo.
Yun lang po.
Oh, sige, salamat. And by the way, ikaw I think, one of the panel discussants dun sa tema ng organizing and networking. So, baka pwede mo rin masama sa sa presentation. So, hingan malalim dahil yun ay pagpapalawak pero nakakabusog din sa kaluluwa ng mga teatrista, ng mga theater makers, yung ating yung presentation ni Gardy and yung mga discussion. Pero at this point, as we turn towards the end of our program, we wanted to have a special moment to remember, to honor, and to pay our respects to one of our own who recently passed away, passed on into the light. He's some kind of a sage para sa amin. Siya si Manny or Manuel Pambid, isang artist, teacher, leader na naging bahagi ng theater movement since the 1960s. Panoorin po natin ang isang maikling video na nilapatan ng musikang naging bahagi ng maraming okasyon mula sa birthday, mula sa mga kasal at sa mga pagbuburol. Ito po ay ang awit ni Kanuplin na titik ni Manny Pambid at musika ni Louie Pascasio. Atin pong panoorin ang video.
Sa hirap at sa ginawa, ako'y iyong kasama. Bituing mapagpala ang gagabay sa ating dalawa. At kahit na lumabo pa at maglaho ang sinag, ako'y tapat sa'yo, kaibigan mo't kadaupalat. Tayo nang gumaod sa bangka at damhin ang tubig sa mukha. Lasapin ang simoy ng hangin, magpahanggang libing. Ipaghihili tayo ng lagaslas ng mga alon, iduduyan sa himig ng hanging dagat. Tatanglawan ng bituing mapagpala sa langit, haharapin natin ang mahahabang gabi. Tayo nang gumaod sa bangka at damhin ang tubig sa mukha. Lasapin ang simoy ng hangin, magpahanggang libing, magpahanggang libing. Ipaghihili tayo ng lagaslas ng mga alon, iduduyan sa himig ng hanging dagat. Tatanglawan ng bituing mapagpala sa langit, haharapin natin ang mahabang gabi. Haharapin natin ang mahabang gabi.
Maraming salamat, Manny Pambid. Isa pong itong pag-aalay para sa iyo. Sabi nga ni Gardy, itong vision na to, kasama ka doon. Hindi ko alam kung Gardy, if you want to just say something, mahihirap ano. Pero ito pong pag-aalay ay para kay Manny at sa iba pa po nating mga artista, manlilikha, kulturang manggagawa, katulad ni Manny, ni Susan Kimpo, Tony Mabesa, Ben Cervantes, Mario de los Reyes, Ernie Cloma, Leo Rimando, Marilee Fernandez Ilagan, Spanky Manikan, Jovi Cunha, Al Evangelio, Mary Joan Fajardo, at natitiyak kong marami pang iba. At this point, kung pwede po tayong in our own hearts, let's have a moment of silence. Alalahanin lang po natin lahat po ng mga kaibigan nating nandoon, gumagabay pa rin sa atin. So let's have a minute of silence po. Hindi man natin sila kasama ngayon, sila po ay nakatatak na sa ating puso at sa ating kasaysayan. So, siguro sa mga susunod po nating conversations or huntahan, tanungin natin ang sarili natin kung sila ang pauupuin din natin sa sirkulo na ito, ano kaya ang maiaambag nila o ano din ang sasabihin nila. So, magkita-kita po tayong muli next week, Sabado, Agosto 8. Alas 3 pa rin po ng hapon para sa isa na namang Tampok Sabadulaan, Saturday Conversations in Theater. Mabuhay po tayong lahat at patuloy tayo sa ating paglikha. Okay, naka-off na yung ano ba?
Aani, 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 ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani ng sining, ani ng galing, diwa at damdamin ng taong bayan. Ani ng anyo ng ating pagkakain. Ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani, 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 ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani ng liwanag ng kamalayan. Ani ng diwa ng taong bayan. Ani ng gabay sa ating paglalakbay. Ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani, 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 ani ng sining ng taong bayan. Ani, 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 ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani ng likha ng taong malikhain, ating anihin at ihahain. Ani ng saysay, ani ng salaysay, aning kasaysayan ng taong bayan.
Ani ng sining ng taong bayan. Ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Kamalayan, liwanagan, pagdiriwang. Ani, 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 ani ng sining.
Ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Ani, 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 ani. ani,